Imagine being just 20 years old and inheriting a kingdom surrounded by enemies. Now imagine defeating the greatest armies on earth, conquering an empire stretching from Greece to Egypt, from Persia to India, never losing a single battle. By the age of 32, your empire becomes the largest the world had ever seen. And then, at the peak of your power, you die. No one knows exactly why. This is not just the story of a king. This is the story of Alexander the Great, the man who changed history forever. Chapter 1, The Birth of a Legend, 045 to 2. Alexander was born in 356 BC in the ancient kingdom of Macedon. His father was King Philip II, one of history's greatest military strategists. His mother, Olympias, believed her son was destined by the gods. According to ancient legends, she even claimed Alexander was the son of Zeus himself. Whether true or not, young Alexander certainly believed he had a divine destiny. From childhood, he displayed courage unlike anyone else. At the age of 12, a wild horse named Bucephalus terrified every rider. No one could control it. Alexander noticed something everyone else had missed. The horse was afraid of its own shadow. He turned it toward the sun, calmed it, and rode it perfectly. His father reportedly said, "My son, Macedonia is too small for you. Find yourself a greater kingdom." Those words would shape history. Chapter 2, The Student of Aristotle. Alexander wasn't only trained for war, his teacher was one of history's greatest philosophers, Aristotle. Under Aristotle's guidance, Alexander studied science, medicine, politics, poetry, and philosophy. He became fascinated with Greek heroes like Achilles. In fact, he carried a copy of Homer's Iliad everywhere he traveled. Alexander dreamed not of becoming a king, but of becoming immortal through history. Back in 336 BC, everything flips. King Philip II is assassinated, and Alexander 20 has the throne thrust onto him. Many kingdoms assume a young prince is soft, and Greek cities smell the chance to break free. Instead of hesitating, Alexander moves fast. He doesn't waste a day. The gap between orders and battle feels like hours, not weeks. He marches south, crushes revolt after revolt, and makes a brutal example of Thebes, completely destroying the city to send a message. Challenge him, and your world goes dark. In the months that follow, his victories travel like wildfire. Ambassadors come, doubts fade, and soon all of Greece treats Alexander as its leader. Then the itch kicks in. Persia. Not a rumor, but the greatest empire on earth, waiting beyond the borders, and Alexander is ready to cross. Greece united behind him, Persia becomes the next conquest for him now. Chapter 4, War against the Persian Empire, 430 to 645. The Persian Empire was enormous. It stretched across 3 continents. Its ruler, King Darius III, commanded hundreds of thousands of soldiers. Alexander crossed into Asia with around 40,000 men. Many believed it was suicide. His first major victory came at the Battle of Granicus. Then, the legendary Battle of Issus. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Alexander personally led cavalry charges into the enemy lines. King Darius fled the battlefield. Not once, but multiple times. Alexander continued advancing. City after city surrendered. His reputation grew into legend. People began believing he was invincible. Chapter 5, The Siege of Tyre. One city refused to surrender, Tyre. It sat on an island, protected by massive walls. No army had ever conquered it. Instead of giving up, Alexander built an entire road through the sea. For 7 months, his soldiers moved rocks, wood, and earth until they reached the island. Then he attacked Tyre, fell, the impossible had become possible. Alexander proved that determination could defeat even geography. Chapter 6, Egypt and the Birth of Alexandria. When Alexander entered Egypt, he wasn't seen as an invader. He was welcomed as a liberator. The Egyptians crowned him pharaoh. He traveled deep into the desert to consult the oracle of Siwa. Afterward, many believed the gods had declared him divine. In Egypt, Alexander founded a new city, Alexandria. It would become one of the greatest centers of science, knowledge, and culture in history. Even today, it still bears his name. Chapter 7, Defeating Darius Forever. The final showdown came at the Battle of Gaugamela. Darius assembled one of the largest armies ever seen. War elephants, scythe chariots, thousands of cavalry. Alexander's army was vastly outnumbered. Yet, using brilliant tactics, he created an opening, charged directly toward Darius, and forced the Persian king to flee once again. Persian Empire collapsed. Alexander became ruler of one of the richest empires in history. But he wasn't finished. Chapter 8, the Indian Campaign. Alexander marched east further than any Greek army before him. Eventually, he reached India. There, he faced King Porus at the Battle of the Hydaspes. For the first time, Alexander encountered war elephants. The battle was brutal, yet Alexander emerged victorious. When asked how he wished to be treated, King Porus replied, "Treat me as a king." Alexander admired his courage. Instead of executing him, he allowed Porus to continue ruling. But Alexander's soldiers had reached their limit. After years of non-stop warfare, they refused to march farther. For the first time in his life, Alexander had to turn back. Chapter 9, the mysterious death in 323 BC. Alexander returned to Babylon. He was preparing even greater conquests. Then, he suddenly became ill. For nearly 2 weeks, his condition worsened. Finally, at just 32 years old, Alexander died. The cause remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Poison, malaria, typhoid fever, a rare disease, no one knows for certain. His empire had no clear successor. Soon after his death, his generals divided the empire among themselves. The greatest empire on earth began to collapse. Chapter 10, Alexander's Legacy. Alexander ruled for only 13 years, yet his influence lasted for centuries. He founded more than 20 cities, spread Greek culture across Asia and Africa, inspired Roman emperors, Persian kings, Napoleon, and even modern military leaders. Some call him a hero, others call him a ruthless conqueror. He destroyed cities, but also united civilizations. He won every battle, yet couldn't defeat death. More than 2,300 years later, his name is still spoken across the world. That is the legacy of Alexander the Great. Ending Alexander once said, "There is nothing impossible to him who will try." Whether he was history's greatest hero or its greatest conqueror, one fact remains undeniable. No one has ever matched what he achieved before the age of 33. And perhaps no one ever will. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to History Horizon, and let me know in the comments. Which historical ruler should we explore next? Until next time, keep exploring history because the past shapes the future.